The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight in Miami, Carl Anthony went to Towns. Yeah, working on that all night. Standing O, just starting to show. He had 44 points, 12 rebounds. The Knicks come back from 13 down in the third quarter and beat Miami tonight 116-107 to improve to 2-2 on the season. Great to have you with us from our Delta Embassy Studios. Bill Pidto along with Hahn and Wally Szczerbiak. The pregame show, we talked all about, Wally, the Knicks needing to get Karl Anthony Towns more involved, get him more shots. Suffice it to say, he was really involved tonight.
First possession, got him the ball. He went straight to the basket, scored. No hesitation the whole entire first quarter, at 24 in that first half. And then what a third quarter by the Knicks. They completely dominated this game. Knicks were down 13 at one point in the third quarter. I won't say what was going on in our green room. It was a little bit of tension in the green room when they went down 13.
Poise in the green room.
They immediately made 3 threes, went on a 30-10 run, flipped the game, and got a huge win that they really needed in this young season.
Another thing we talked about in the pregame was the three-point attempt, something Tom Thibodeau wanted to see more three-point shots put up. They put up 40 in this game. They made 18 in the third quarter is really where they started knocking down those threes. But when you watch this team throughout the course of the game, even down 13, what you're noticing with this Knicks team early in the season is the possessions are all good possessions. You're getting good shots. It's a matter of just finding rhythm, and they did find that rhythm in the second half. And all you can say about Karl Anthony Towns is this is exactly why you get a player like that. He was bigger than everybody on the floor, literally, figuratively. He got all kinds of rebounds. He made big shots, and he showed you he can also carry a team offensively.
Against the Cavs the other night, Towns, Wally only got 8 shots. Tonight he got 24. And we're getting a chance now to obviously watch him closely and watch him on a night-by-night basis. He's got an amazing diversity to his offensive game.
He's got the complete package. 17 for 25. I mean, that's an impressive stat line. They're all high-quality shots because he has a matchup advantage no matter who's guarding him. And a lot of this was over a great defender in Bam Adebayo. He completely showed the total package. I love the no hesitation. Yep. That's the big thing. When you catch and square. If the defender is off you, just shoot over him. I mean, he's got a high release. He's 7 feet tall. He softens up his legs. He's an outstanding standstill jump shooter. And then Jalen Brunson played like a true point guard tonight, too. He realized this is Towns' night. I got to feed the beast. I got to let my big man eat, just like he mentioned he needed to do in postgame after the game when he only had 8 shots. And Towns responded with ferocity, with emotion, with fire, with energy, and carried this Knicks team to a big road win against their arch rivals, the Miami Heat.
7-footer, 40% three-point shooter, 4 of 6 coming into this game from 3, 5 3 attempts, 4 of 5 from downtown. If you think about, again, the high efficiency ability to shoot the 3, what a great value that is. But unlike a lot of big men in this game that shoot threes, he also plays inside the paint. We saw some of the paint finishes. And again, the rebounding. I just think that's a big part of the questions about the changes in this team from last season to this season. Will they still play with grit? Will they still be able to rebound the basketball? I think we saw a lot of those questions answered in a game like this against a hard-playing team like the Miami Heat.
And the third quarter really was key, Wally. You mentioned the Knicks. About 8 minutes to go in that third quarter, they're down 70-57, down by 13. They go on a 30-10 run, and in that third quarter, they go 8 of 13 from downtown to come back.
Yeah, that was huge. And it was almost like they looked up. They're like, we're really down 13 points. We better kick it into gear quick because we don't want to. We're staring 1 and 3 in the face right here, and we do not want that to happen. And they just responded with a mini 8-straight run. OG Anunoby knocks down a couple threes. And the Knicks have shooters. They have guys that can knock down triples, space the floor. The ball movement was outstanding. And I just think this team is starting to not think. They're starting to play with their instincts. And they're starting to just react and read and react. And that's what happens with new pieces. There is no hesitation on these jump shots. It is make a quick, decisive move. If you have something, take the shot. If you don't, move the ball and find your teammate. That's what good teams do with great players, and the stats prove how well the Knicks played tonight.
Yeah, and you know, that third quarter, while we're talking all about Karl Anthony Towns, Both Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges struggled with their shooting in the first half, but those two guys really got it cooking in the third quarter. The two of them combined for 18 points. Brunson had 10. Both of them made 2 3-pointers in that run of three-point shooting as well. So when that backcourt really started getting going, so he had Karl-Anthony Towns was balancing it to start the game. These two guys took over, and that's when the offense really got unlocked. And that's when you start to see the true potential of this team.
Just showed you the stats. Not on there. The Knicks had 30 assists.
It's a great
30
number.
assists.
9 in the third quarter.
Yep.
And Mikal Bridges, uneven maybe at the beginning, but when the game was on the line, when the game turned in the third quarter, he was all over the edge.
Made big shots and 4 stocks, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He's given you a bit of everything, Wally. He's one of the top two-way players in the NBA.
Yeah, and his motor, too. I mean, he doesn't come out of the game. He plays both ends of the floor, and he's not a one-dimensional player like a lot of people thought he might be coming out of Villanova, a 3-and-D guy. He does everything out there on the basketball floor. I mean, he will post up smaller defenders and put them in the cage, and he does not miss inside the arc. His percentages inside the three-point line this year are outstanding. And these threes, these are kind of tough threes. Quick catch-and-shoot threes, couple of them fading away. I mean, he is not hesitating. He is finding his groove and his rhythm in a New York Knicks uniform. And the most important thing as a player, especially into a new team, is do not play passive. You have to be the aggressor. You have to play aggressively. And tonight, Bridges and Towns, they were the aggressors against an aggressive Miami Heat team, and that's why they won the game.
And how confident, like, he's a playmaker, 6 assists, by the way. So there's a lot of times where he'll take the ball up the floor. He'll be able to run a little bit of the offense, and that's what you like. But it's the confidence that he has, and you can see it. Even though he was struggling early on with his shot in this game, he never stopped shooting. He never got into his head. He just kept shooting. He had the confidence of going to his spots. And like Wally said, it's I have a matchup. Where am I going? Inside, because this guy's smaller. Okay, or I'm going to spot up outside and get this off quickly. And he got himself into a rhythm. And you see, like Bill, he has a little swag to him. For a guy that doesn't really do a lot of demonstrative things, that when he gets it cooking, you can see that he starts to get into this little bit of a rhythm. Guys feed off that, and there's a multifaceted impact that he has on this game, which is, again, we talk about why'd you get Towns? You got Bridges for all the things that he showed you in this game, too.
And it helped offset another poor shooting night from Jalen Brunson. Did score 22, but only 6 of 18 shooting from Brunson. Didn't matter. Knicks win it, 116-107. Tom Thibodeau's post-game comments coming up. And the guys also from the Wally Wall breaking down key plays from the Knicks' big win tonight. The Knicks beat the Heat tonight, 116-107. Next up, second of the 4-game road trip. They're at Detroit Friday at 7. Got our pregame show here at 6:30. Over now to the Wally Wall with Alan and Wally, guys.
Thank you, Bill. The conversation out of Monday's game against the Cavs, Karl-Anthony Towns only took 8 shots. That's not enough. You got to get him more shots. So what do the Knicks do? They feed the beast. He had 8 shots in the first quarter. And Wally, as we'll do here at the Wall, the first play of the game, they made it clear who they're going to.
They did, and Karl-Anthony Towns delivered in every way, shape, or form in this game. Here's Jalen Brunson attacking a little bit. Knicks are kind of getting into their offense. A little bit of a mismatch if Jovic is going to try to guard Karl-Anthony Towns. Freeze it there. Karl-Anthony Towns getting fronted, doesn't settle, works his way out of the front because he has to get the ball. Sometimes teams will try to front you to discourage you to work to get it. Karl-Anthony Towns works to get position. Once he gets the ball, frees it there. He turns the corner. He's got those long arms. Bam Adebayo, who's a pretty good shot blocker right here, just not big enough to deal with Karl-Anthony Towns, his size, his athleticism, and his touch. I mean, that's a nice little floater. He's just such a good player at that size. He doesn't have any weaknesses in his game. He can put the ball on the floor, and he can score in any way, shape, or form. And I'll tell you, 44 points on 25 shots.
Yeah.
I mean, that is efficiency. That is as good as it gets. Knicks have to continue to look to get him to the ball because he's a very efficient scorer.
I'm sorry I laughed there, but to see a 7-footer with a little float game in the paint, like it's like a guard with the skills that he has there, so he shows it there. More kind of those perimeter skills. Let's go later in the game now. The dagger shot, which is his 4th 3 of the game, and this one again, while you keep talking about this with him, no hesitation, shoot over smaller defenders.
Yeah, when he gets that ball out on the three-point line, just catch and shoot. Trust your catch and shoot game. Former three-point contest champ. Here's Mikal Bridges driving inside, frees it there. Mikal Bridges, he does a good job of breaking down defense, making plays. The whole defense collapses. Karl Anthony Towns kind of relocates out to the wing and the breakout here. And watch when he gets the ball. He's got Jimmy Butler coming out to close out on him, who's 6 inches shorter. So it's not even going to bother his shot. And he does a good job of just looking that Jimmy's hands are down, hand down, man down. And, Karl Anthony Towns just rises up. He's already in rhythm. He's already got 38 points, make it 41 on this one, extends the lead to 12, and the Knicks are on their way to a great victory in their arch rivals' home down in Miami. And that's a big win for the Knicks to get back to 500 at 2-2.
Yeah, you know what? Don't think for a second, though. Some of those late plays where Jimmy Butler was on Karl Anthony Towns, the history between the two, don't think for a minute there that he wanted to make sure that he got the winning end out of this one. Well, Tom Thibodeau certainly knows both Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns. We'll get the Knicks head coach's thoughts right now on this Knicks win. It is presented by Chase.
Yeah, I thought Karl got off to a good start. I liked the way the team generated shots, our volume. We got Karl going inside, and then our volume of threes went way up, and we had good rhythm on that. And then the defense got going a little bit in the second half, and the offensive rebounding late was very good for us as well.
How good was it to see Cat do what he did? Just, he's new, and sometimes
Yeah, and I think the big thing is let the game tell you what to do. And as I told him, and obviously we were disappointed with the Cleveland game that we didn't close it the way we would have liked to. But after watching the film, I felt a lot better about the team. And Karl made a number of good plays out of the post in that game. And so to build on that and where the focus is, just learn, improve, develop, and every day come in with that in mind. Okay, how can we get better today? And then focus on every possession. And if we do it like that, little by little, it'll get a lot better. And so, I think we're seeing that. So it's a long grind. It's, each day you have to put everything you have into it. And if we have that mindset, then everyone puts the team first, get lost in the team. So play to win, and I thought we did that.
A lot of off-ball actions. Did you think that helped generate a lot of the threes that you guys created tonight?
They were, changing defenses, and so some of it was zone, some of it was the full court pressure, and so not having him exert energy all the time, and then there's a different package we go to where we can get it back to him and then catch him off the move, and we like that as well. And I thought, he read the game really well. I thought his playmaking was very effective, and guys, and that's what I liked. There was a lot of cutting going on, which generated good opportunities for us. And I think when you help somebody else, you oftentimes are helping yourself. And so I thought that's what generated a lot of good looks for us. I thought Mikal was terrific. OG he guarded everyone, and when you look at the way he played, the box score doesn't reflect the things that he did in that game. And there's times we had him on Bam, and he guarded everyone, and that team poses a lot of problems. So it's great to have a player like OG.
Tom, 44 and 13 tonight shows he's pretty well acclimated, obviously. But even before tonight, how would you say he's handled the last 4? I mean, it is a pretty big.
Great. And I love his approach because he's not forcing anything, and he's just he's letting the game. I want him to be assertive and everything, but I want him to let the game come to him. And he's very confident in his ability. He's a very gifted scorer, as you saw tonight. But if you look at his whole career, that's really what he's done. And he can hurt you a lot of different ways. He doesn't hesitate. He's a lot stronger than he was, 5 years ago. He can finish through contact, but he can put it on the floor, shoot the three. There's nothing he can't catch and shoot with him. Everything. So he has the skill set of a guard in a center's body. So it's good and play off each other. And I think the more that this team goes through things together, the better it'll get.
Postgame comments there from the Knicks coach. Time now to say hello to Monica McNutt. She's in Miami. Helped call the game on ESPN New York on the radio call. Monica, what was it like to see Cat do that in person tonight?
Spectacular. It was a culmination of all the reasons why you make a trade and you add him to this team and why there's so much buzz about what this team could accomplish this year. I think one of the things that it sort of shielded you from was the fact that Jalen Brunson didn't have a signature Jalen Brunson first half. But Cat was having such a good game. And I know he only got credit for 2 assists in the box score, but you see his ability as a passer. He's attacking the basket on either wing as a big, of course in the paint, of course being able to score with his back to the basket. Like, it was truly a show it all off, get deep into the bag type of night by Karl-Anthony Towns, and it was really good to see.
Monica, that third quarter really was the turning point. It felt like the game might have been slipping when they went down 13, but in a blink, all of a sudden, the Knicks were back in it. In fact, the three ball had a lot to do with it. We in the pregame were talking about the three-point shot for this team. What was the difference for the Knicks getting the three ball up in this game?
Well, they got 40 up, and I think you heard head coach Tom Thibodeau talk about it. They weren't hesitant. But as much as we want to talk about the offense, and I get it because that's razzle-dazzle everybody wants to watch, but in the third quarter, Hahn, he hit a three with 4:20 to go, and then the Knicks didn't allow them to hit a three the remainder of the third quarter, and I think they hit their first, about that 8.5 minute mark in the fourth quarter, and so that little sustained stretch where they were able to defend and stop some of the momentum, because quite frankly, Tyler Hero, if not for the monster performance by Karl-Anthony Towns, we would be talking more about the performance by Tyler Hero from the three-point line, and Terry Rozier got going from behind the line. So as much as we keep wanting to point to the offense, and yes, being doubled up by 3 out prior to this game, all of that is worthy of noting. The thing that Josh Hart said to us in our post-game interview for the radio broadcast was the defense that they were able to pick up and clean up in the second half. And so even though this defense might look different than it did previously, it is still going to be a vital calling card if the Knicks are going to be successful this season.
Monica, we talked about Bam Adebayo being such a great defender in the pregame show, and then Karl-Anthony Towns ate him up, lit him up. How did you see him doing it and getting it done against one of the best defenders in the league down low?
I thought he was really patient, Wally. Like, he took what the defense was giving him, but at the same time, he dictated. And I know that sounds a little bit contradictory, but he would catch, take a second to survey. The couple of times that he caught and immediately got into his move were usually on the wing, where he did have an advantage, putting the defender on his hip. But I thought he was very poised. He didn't force. In the first half, we saw an assortment of turnarounds, over-the-shoulder turnarounds, right hand, left hand. He was poised and he was patient. And then on the glass, he was just relentless. I talked a lot about how I thought rebounds were going to be important as one of my keys. First of all, being aggressive and attacking Bam Adebayo and getting him in foul trouble early, I think that also disrupted his rhythm and just opened up the lane literally even more for Karl-Anthony Towns. Okay, Monica, great to talk to you as always. We'll talk to you Friday night when the Knicks are in Detroit to take on the Pistons. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. We are back now from the corner of the three, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Knicks beat the Heat guys 116-107. Allen, Jalen Brunson's second straight subpar shooting night, but he did pass off for 9 assists and was 7 of 7 from the line and ended up with a 22-point night. And just 1 turnover also. You consider all the pressure he was under handling the basketball, because their defense was all around him, swarming him. I love the fact that he started to become more of a facilitator in this game, looking to pass the basketball a lot more. He talked about how he said the other night, I've got to be better. I've got to be better at that. It starts with me when it comes to the Knicks offense and getting this thing unlocked with all the options he has around him. But in that third quarter, he also knew, I also got to get some scoring done. I got to get it done on this end too and keep the defense honest. The three ball was what got him going. The drives to the basket were not as easy for him, because while it's obviously a very physical defense that Miami plays, they were always having a spy following him around, one of the bigs, keeping an eye on him. Yeah, he still got the 22 points, like you mentioned. Yep. That's what scorers do. Yep. He hasn't really played great this whole season so far. I mean, compared to what we're used to him seeing last year when he averaged 28.7 points per game, he's going to find his rhythm. He's going to have an explosive night like Karl did and break out of this little mini shooting slump. But overall, he'll take the wins. That's what it's all about for the captain. Guys, we haven't mentioned Josh Hart yet. All he did was have a double-double. Third straight double-double for Josh Hart. We're going to get his post-game comments when we come back right after this. It's the Knicks win in Miami tonight by 9.
Happy to do it. We got to do that more and get clean looks. But like I said, it's a work in progress. We keep continuing to build and continue to get better.
felt like there were more instances tonight where either you or Deuce were initiating the offense and Jalen was playing off ball and you guys were finding ways to get him on the back end. But what challenges for the defense does that provide when you guys are able to kind of switch it up like that and bring different looks with the 3-guard rotation?
Yeah, it just it is a benefit because he doesn't have to work so hard. Sometimes guys pick him up, 94 feet. He doesn't have to fight to get the ball, there, and then we're getting into an offense at, 16 on the clock or 17. So.
Damn it. Is it easier for him to get loose on the backsides too, in terms of because he felt like he shot more catch and shoot threes tonight too?
It was going to take the whole game to really kind of get ahead, and we just kept chipping away, and then finally we made that run.
Hard 10 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Knicks celebrate a win in Miami. They're now 2-2 on the season. 5 of the next 6 games for the Knicks on the road, beginning with Friday's game at Detroit, Monday at Houston, Wednesday at Atlanta, and the one home game over the upcoming stretch, home against Milwaukee a week from Friday. Knicks win in Miami tonight, 116-107. So we're on the air on Friday. Knicks in Detroit, pregame at 6:30, game at 7. You can watch here on MSG or stream on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app.